And mixed feelings from across the divide have greeted President Akufo-Addo's decision to withdraw the amendment of Article 243, Clause 1 from Parliament. The amendments, had it been completed, would allow Ghanaians to elect their own metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. However, in a live television address to the nation, President Akufo-Addo announced a withdrawal of the bill together with another amendment that could have introduced partisan politics at the assemblies had it been approved in a referendum. The president cited lack of consensus for the referendum question and on the political party participation in local government for the withdrawals. In case you missed the address, here's a summary.
A little over 4 months into my mandate, I held a meeting with my three predecessors, the first, second, and fourth presidents of the Fourth Republic, Their Excellencies Jerry John Rawlings, John Agyekum Kufuor, and John Dramani Mahama, at Jubilee House, to seek their views and counsel on these issues. I came away from that meeting with the view that there was consensus amongst us that the time had come for political parties to participate openly in district assembly elections and local governance. Far from it being divisive, elections have in fact been a unifying factor in the politics of the Fourth Republic. That is the reason why for the last 26 years, under the Constitution of the Fourth Republic, we have experienced the longest uninterrupted period of stable constitutional governance in our history, banishing the specter of instability that disfigured the early years of our nation's existence, and the benefits are still showing. It would also mean that freedom of association, which is one of the most fundamental freedoms in any democracy, would be given full expression in Ghanaian democracy. Regrettably, 2 weeks ago, the main opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, made what I can only describe as a U-turn and stated that it was no longer prepared to go along with the national consensus. They indicated further they will actively campaign for a no vote. Inasmuch as I still believe that there's enough support in the country for a yes vote to be successful on 17th December, I do not believe that this is the proper atmosphere in which an issue of such nature, i.e. the repeal of an entrenched provision of the Constitution, should be addressed in our country. Even after their U-turn, I undertook consultations across a broad range of opinion as to the way forward. The general result of these consultations was that the process of repeal should be put on hold for the time being to enable a durable national consensus to be forged on this matter. In these circumstances, I'm convinced that it will not serve the public interest to go ahead with the holding of the referendum on 17th December, even though I believe a strong campaign for a yes vote would have succeeded. This is not the kind of atmosphere in which the repeal of an entrenched provision of the Constitution should take place. Even though I'm unrepentant in my belief that party politics is good for our country, for it enhances accountability, I also think that on matters of such constitutional significance, there should be a broad national consensus behind the repeal of an entrenched provision of the Constitution. So, fellow Ghanaians, it is with deep regret that I've given instructions to the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, who was spearheaded this process on behalf of government with commendable vigor and dynamism, to abort the process and see to the withdrawal of the bills for the amendment of the Constitution, both in respect of Article 2431 and Article 55.3. Nonetheless, I assure you, the good people of Ghana, that my government and I will continue to work for a broad national consensus on this issue. And should such a consensus be attained, for the repeal of Article 55(3) of the Constitution and an agreement reached for political parties to participate in and sponsor candidates for election to district assemblies at any point during my tenure of office as President of the Republic, the matter will be brought again back to the front burner of our public discourse for the necessary action. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
I've been joined by Alhaji Inusa Fuseni. He's a lawyer and member of parliament for Tamale Central. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ado. How are you?
Very well, thank you. The announcement by the president yesterday has been greeted with mixed reactions. What's your position?
My position is that the announcement was uncalled for. The process is subversive, and it's an act of impunity. In fact, the president has subverted the will of the people in determining a very important constitutional matter as the involvement of partisan politics in local assembly elections.
Would you say the feeling is that he has taken the decision out of our hands and made it all by himself?
Made it by himself. Yeah. The Constitution doesn't give him that right.
Okay.
The Constitution provides amendment procedures to various provisions. You have a simple majority where you can amend some provisions of the Constitution. You have a two-thirds majority, which in our present parliament will require some compromise and consensus building. And you have a referendum in which members of parliament share the same right with the people of this country in determining whether or not they should amend a provision of the Constitution. In this particular case, the right of the president to amend a constitutional provision is the same as the right of the ordinary man at the nuclear station to vote to amend the Constitution. And so he cannot arrogate to himself the power to determine the supreme will of the people.
Are you saying that the president has not followed due process?
What provision of the Constitution did the president refer to when he said he was directing the Minister for Local Government to take the withdrawal of the two provisions? What power did he invoke to do that?
Okay, so does this mean that his decision or his announcement legally does not stand? What
I mean, is it a directive to the Electoral Commission to stop the processes related to the amendment, related to the referendum? Is it intended to be read that way? If it is to be read that way, then what happens to the constitutional injunction, which says that in the performance of this function, the Electoral Commission is not subject to the control and direction of anyone? That's why I have always said that in full obedience to the principles of the rule of law, which cardinal principles introduce certainty and predictability, and where the interest of the state is to be determined through a referendum, nobody will stand in the way of the referendum in ensuring that the express will of the people is made manifest. In fact, we just been reading from the Brexit experience. David Cameron was the Prime Minister of Britain. Britain has no written constitution, mind you. David Cameron stood for a no vote in the Brexit referendum. Some members of his party stood for a yes vote. Then the yes campaigners won. He did not stop the process. In fact, there was no consensus and compromise. The political parties never agreed. There is no agreement on the basis of a referendum. It's a question that is put to the people, and the people answer in the affirmative or in the negative. And the result by a formula provided in the Constitution, which formula talks about the turnout and the outcome, and how the outcome can be judged to be the outcome of a majority of the people. And so, even if there's a referendum and there is a yes vote, which has won by a simple majority, we would not have met the constitutional dictate on the formula to determine whether an overwhelming majority of the people have voted yes. And so, my view is that the president ought not to have truncated the system. And his argument that the yes would have won is neither here nor there. The yes vote, if it was to win the election, had to win by a certain formula. By a certain formula, not a simple majority. Not a 50 plus 1 that got into a presidency. And so, well, we are to see the ramification, but my earliest initial reaction on this matter has been to say that the president has acted with utmost impunity and has violently interfered in the performance of the duties of the Electoral Commission.
And Alhaji Fuseni, so in the process of actually cancelling or taking back this referendum, we've also been denied the election of MMDCEs.
Yeah, and so the president then says that, well, because it was my interest, and he had always held the view that political parties should play a part in determining who becomes the district chief executive in the various districts. Because there was no bipartisan consensus, he thinks that the bill should be withdrawn. And who says that the president can substitute his views for the views of this country? The fact that he holds a view doesn't mean that the people of Ghana share in that view. And that is why they must be given a voice in expressing their view on the matter. And to say that you are cancelling on the basis of the fact that there's no bipartisan consensus, you are subverting in very strong hands the will of the people.
Alhaji Fuseni, just before my final question to you, we have Madam Josephine Nkrumah on the line as well. We'll be talking to her in a second. But can you take us through the process to withdraw the amendment of Article 243, Clause 1? And
the process, there's actually no process.
Okay.
There's actually no process. You see, a constitution is a supreme law of the country. It's a basic law. Okay? And all laws must conform to it. Now, the constitution provides the ways and manner in which a president must proceed to amend the constitution. And there is a procedural requirement to be complied with. In the case of a referendum, the amendment of an intent provision, the president has to comply with the provision that requires that he lays the proposed amendment in Parliament. That amendment will have to be forwarded to the Council of State for their advice, without more. And the Council of State will give its advice to the Speaker. The Speaker, without more, will have advised the proposed amendment for the processes to be initiated for affirms the intended decision of the executive.
Oh, it looks like we've lost Alhaji Inusa Fuseni there. But the National Commission for Civic Education has, per its mandate, been going around the country to educate the electorate on the referendum. With the latest action by the president, we're wondering, what's the next step for the NCCE? Madam Josephine Nkrumah is the chairperson of the NCCE, and she joins me over the telephone for more. Good morning, Madam.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you very much. Have you received official communication that the referendum has been called off?
No, except to the extent as we all heard on TV and major media houses yesterday. We haven't received any official communication to this effect.
Right, so what is the next step for the NCCE? I mean, you went around, you've been educating people, you know, trying to get some movement and some momentum concerning this referendum, and it's been abruptly called off. So what are you planning to do?
I think it's important for us to understand first and foremost that December 17th, there were two major elections, or three elections. The election of our unit committee members, our assembly members, which is in line with our election cycle to be holding elections around that time. And then actually it was on the back of the district level elections that the referendum was riding. So now that that referendum has been, or the process of the referendum has been aborted, our work continues on the ground. We still need to educate people and raise awareness of the upcoming district level elections. So that this does not, in essence, curtail the work that we have to do. But now more than ever, I think our work must be more relentless, because a lot of the noise around December 17th was in relation to the referendum, and it somehow put the issue on district level elections, you know, on the backside. But now more than ever, we want people to understand that they still need to come out and vote for district level elections. One thing for me that has come out from all of this is that people are beginning to appreciate the importance of district level elections. People are beginning to understand that district level elections is actually what is pivotal to development. And so we are hoping that this awareness that hasn't been created will also find expression in people's interest in turning out on December 17th to elect their unit committee members and their assembly members.
Okay, in terms of cost, would you say that you have made a loss, or does this put a dent in your finances on any level?
No, I wouldn't say that we have lost. Maybe in terms of man-hours spent, especially on trying to correct the misinformation that was out there in respect of the referendum, that somehow, you know, is disappointing for us. But nonetheless, we also realize that we continue to have our core mandate to express by educating the citizenry on the district level elections. We know that district level elections have characteristically seen low voter turnout. And we hope that with the kind of work that has gone on, people will not be daunted by the abortion of the referendum, but would now more than ever realize that with the importance that we must attach to district level elections, every qualified voter must come out on December 17th and vote wisely for our unit committee members and our assembly members.
Well, thank you very much for that, Josephine Nkrumah. She's the chairperson for the NCCE. I'm going back to Alhaji Fussaini. Alhaji, just before you go, what is the minority planning to do about this?
Well, I'm just moving to Parliament. I'm sure there will be a meeting of the minority, and we will do the decision of what to do. We are looking at the evolving we want to see how the bill will be drawn, whether or not the Speaker will allow us to comment on the processing the data appeared in the Parliament. And so there are many things that are unfolding. Like I said earlier, they appear to be looked to see provided for a withdrawal of bills dealing with constitutional amendments. Was it intended, or was it a lacuna? If it was intended that the bills laid in Parliament and haven't gone through the procedure must be allowed to go through the processes and finish. Will the minister have the capacity, authority, and right to withdraw the bill so late? What becomes of the advice of the Council of State? What becomes of the processes that the Electoral Commission has initiated? And so there are many questions to answer, and then we will want to see whether we can attempt to answer those questions to bring clarity.
Right, thank you very much for joining us then. Staying with the referendum, a lawyer and economics professor is challenging the president's power to abort the December 17th referendum. According to Professor Kweku Asare, one cannot simply withdraw a bill that has been held in abeyance by a constitutional instrument. He wrote in a Facebook post that the president cannot speak to the EC, through TV broadcasts. The EC cannot suspend the referendum unless CI 12013 is annulled. The bill cannot be withdrawn while there is a CI based on it. To annul the CI requires the vote of 2/3 majority of MPs. Kweku Azar, as he is known, took to the social media platform to share his views minutes after President Nana Akufo-Addo announced abortion of the amendment process of Article 55(3) in a television broadcast. The president cited the need for national consensus before moving forward. He said he has directed the Minister for Local Government to withdraw Article 2431 as well. We will speak to the Electoral Commission in our subsequent bulletins. But staying with the referendum, well, we always like to hear from you. And so we're going to hear from some of you on the aborted referendum.
I agree with the president suspending the referendum because I think majority of Ghanaians did not agree with this referendum because most people don't see the need for it. Though it may be or it is in the constitution, but I don't think it's necessary right now. That's not what the country or most people need right now. The economy is so much messed up. So I don't think the referendum or this thing will change anything.
President, you can't just get up as much as you have that power. I don't think it's right for you to just get up and then select somebody to govern over us. And so that's why we have most issues where you can tell that this DC or this MC is not working, but yet the person is there, so we go ahead with it. And then suddenly it's been cancelled. I'm sure they've printed ballot papers and the like. So now what happens to all that?
I think first and foremost, the yes and no was not made clear to the public what it really means. Because people do not know if I'm voting yes for him to choose for us or yes for us to choose or no for him to choose for us and all those stuff. So it wasn't made clear to the public, and all of a sudden you just, after preparation, all this long preparation and all those stuff, the money involved, and you just cancel the whole thing. I think it's kind of confusing. So he should rethink it and let's move forward.